Alright, hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Princess Connect Redive video. And about a day and a half ago or so, I made a poll asking you guys who is your top 3 physical DPSs in the entire game, in your opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and check out that poll and see what you guys said about it. Alright, so here is the poll over on my YouTube channel. We had over 707 votes. I also said, P.S. I can only fit 5 characters, so I excluded good options such as Suzuna, Vegeta, Eriko, and I also did exclude Summer Tamaki, and I opted to put in Hiyori instead of Summer Tamaki. Now, Summer Tamaki is super good. I probably should have put in over Hiyori, but a lot of people have Hiyori more than Summer Tamaki, so that's why I kind of put Hiyori in there. But here is the poll. Now, as we can see, we have 72% of the votes going to Hiyori, so almost 3 out of the 4 votes were going to Hiyori. That is ridiculous. It's a landslide victory for our girl Hiyori. Obviously, Hiyori is super powerful. I do have to agree. I do think she is the best physical DPS in the entire game at the moment. If once everyone is able to start farming Tomo, and if people get Tomo up to 5 stars, I feel like Tomo will eventually outclass Hiyori. But for now, I feel like definitely Hiyori is going to be that #1 slot, easily bar none #1. Next character with 11% of the votes is going to go to Tomo. Tomo, of course, is the newest gacha featured character, so we head into the gacha banner. Her banner is still out as the recording of this video. Of course, it does go away on September 7th. But we head back to here. We'll see that it is at a nice 11%, so it is the second highest out of all the people here. Next we have Orisa getting 9% of the votes, and then Hiyori at 5%, and then Shiori at 4%. So if I put Summer Tamaki in here, I feel like she would probably get a little lower than Orisa, or maybe equal as Orisa. I don't think she'll get higher than Tomo, though, definitely not. But I feel like Summer Tamaki in here would probably do better than Hiyori and Shiori. I'm not too sure. But all the characters in here are very great options. Obviously, Hiyori is just so strong. She's on every single clan battle team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over every single one of these characters' kits. I'll talk about them, and I'll talk about where I would place them on a tier list. All right, so here are all of the characters that I have put onto the poll in my party here. So obviously, you have Hiyori, Tomo, Orisa, and Shiori. So obviously, starting with Hiyori, everyone pretty much knows what Hiyori does. A massive physical damage to an enemy directly in front. This hits very hard. If you can crit on this Ryuki Ken Knuckle Cannon, this thing hits like a truck. If you crit, you're doing like 90,000 damage. It is ridiculously hard hitting. Very powerful Union Burst ability. You also have the midline thrust, which is just extra damage. Nothing really too special. And then this is where it makes her super good right here, is her mental focus skill, which is going to boost her damage dealt with each attack. It's going to stack up to 5 times. So obviously over the course of the battle, she's going to get stronger and stronger. So very good ability. It's what makes her so good in clan battle, is she keeps on stacking her damage with obviously every time she uses the skill, the mental focus ability. So this is a very basic kit to have for a physical character, but it just makes her so strong. Combined with her insane stats, she has pretty good physical defense. Combine all of that together, and you have a monster of a DPS unit, which makes Hiyori such a great character. And I feel like she definitely does deserve #1 as a physical DPS character in the entire game at the moment. All right, next we have Hiyori. Now, Hiyori is a super underrated character. Not a lot of people talk about her. She does do a lot of damage with her Union Burst and then her Kitty combo, which boosts her own physical attack by a moderate amount. This Kitty combo, I mean, the Hiyori Rush is pretty decent, does large physical damage to an enemy directly in front, and deals moderate physical damage to all enemies in a small radius around it. So it is an AoE attack, but obviously you're going to be wanting to use her in clan battle. And in clan battle, you're not really kind of fighting AoE enemies that often. We haven't fought a single multi-target boss ever. We'll probably fight them soon, but for now it's only been single-target bosses. So obviously this extra moderate physical damage to all enemies in a radius does not really affect at the moment. But this does hit pretty decently hard. It does, I mean, it's a lot of little attacks, so you have a lot more chances to crit, but you also have a lot more chances to not crit. So it's kind of a trade-off, because see, with like Hiyori, you either crit or you don't crit, because it's one giant punch attack. So if you crit, you're doing 90,000. If not, you're doing about 45,000. For Hiyori, you can crit one time, you're going to do like maybe like an extra like 600 damage or so. Because you can only crit out of like the one out of like, I don't know, she does like 15 like punches, extra little small punches. But that's the thing here, is you can probably average out to get a little bit more damage with the Hiyori Rush on average than the Hiyori Rush. But if you punch with that Hiyori, with the Union Burst with Hiyori, you can potentially do a lot more damage, especially if you get that crit in. Which can make her Union Burst kind of weak, but I feel like it has its upsides and it has its downsides. So Hero Rush, I still think it's a good universe, but what makes her really good, of course, is her kitty combo that I already talked about, which boosts her own physical attack by a moderate amount, which just makes her a stronger kind of physical attacker. So Hiyori, definitely an underrated pick. Obviously not as strong as the other 4 characters on here, but definitely deserving of the title of a top 5 physical DPS, 100%. All right, next we have the new girl on the block, and that is going to be Tomo. Tomo is absolutely ridiculous. She has a ton of stuff going on inside of her kit. We have her universe here, the Makuma Hidden Art Asura, I think that's how you say it. It does moderate physical damage to an enemy directly in front. It does a massive boost to your own physical attack and a moderate boost to your own action speed. So obviously you're going to be stacking your attack every time you pop this universe, so she's going to just get stronger and stronger and stronger. This is going to be an AoE attack, moderate physical damage. And this is also going to be recovering her own TP by a small amount, which is going to help boost her universe, which is going to keep stacking up her attack over and over and over. Obviously, giving her action speed buffing is very good, considering she's going to be hitting such high physical attack numbers because of the stacking. Combine that with the action speed, she's going to be launching out more TP regeneration, which means more, which means her universe, which means more action speed, which means more TP regeneration. You guys get what I'm saying, right? It just keeps going and going and going and going, and it's going to go faster and faster and faster and faster. And Tomo just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, and eventually, I do think a Tomo at 5 stars versus a Kyori at 5 stars, I honestly can feel like if Tomo gets enough stacks in, I feel like she just destroys Kyori in terms of overall damage. But Tomo, man, she's such a great character. I'm so happy I did end up pulling her. Definitely deserving of a 4-star or higher. If you do pull her, I definitely do think you should get her up to 4 stars, because then at that point she becomes usable inside of clan battle, so she's not too like squishy at 3 stars where she can die. 4 stars, her defenses are looking pretty solid, 150 physical, 105 magic. So at 5 stars, her defenses are going to be around 170 physical, maybe 175, and then maybe like 125 magic or 115 magic, somewhere around there. So comparable to Kyori in terms of defenses, so very, very solid. Obviously, her universe does not hit as hard as the other characters. Obviously, it only being a moderate multiplier compared to Kyori's massive multiplier, and then Hiyori has a large multiplier. Obviously, her only having a moderate one is not that great, but that trade-off there is that she stacks her physical attack and she keeps boosting her own action speed. So that is the trade-off you have with Tomo. I feel like personally, I'd probably put her at number 2. You just have to have a lot of stacks with her before she gets really, really going. But at their peak, I feel like Tomo is the best out of all of them. All right, next we have Orisa, one of my favorite characters. Upon release, I feel like she was the best physical attack character. Definitely better than Kyori, I think, upon release. Upon release, if you have these two at 5 stars, I feel like Kyori might be a little bit better, but Orisa is so powerful. She does massive physical damage to an enemy directly in front, and it boosts the damage dealt if the skill has already been used. So the first universe, it does way significantly less damage compared to the second one. I feel like the second one does like 75 almost to 100% more damage. You're almost doubling or timesing your damage by 1.75. So it's honestly, this universe hits very, very hard. She's going to be hitting super hard. She also has a Clinging Vines ability, which does small physical damage, so it's just extra damage, but it's not much, to the highest magical attacker, and reduces their action speed by a small amount. So obviously, doing damage to a magic attacker, making her a magic attack sniper. Obviously, she doesn't target them with her Union Burst, but she does target them with the Clinging Vines ability, which can be good, because it does end up lowering their action speed. So if it ends up lowering a healer's action speed, like Maho, for example, which will stop the blind from hitting you, as well as stop her healing coming in. So this ability can have its good uses. Obviously, I wish the action speed, instead of it being a small amount, maybe a moderate amount, but I feel like that'd make her way too powerful. But still, a nice little extra ability to have against mages. And this is what makes her so good, is the Shimmering Wings ability. So it recovers her own TP by a moderate amount, which is pretty decent. That's about a 175 TP regeneration increase. And then this amount increases if I'll fill you with arrows has been used, which is her Union Burst. So if you use your Union Burst, you're going to be recovering a lot more TP. I feel like it's almost going to fill your gauge about like 80% to 90% all the way every time the skill pops. So if you manage to give action speed to this girl, like for example, if you run Kokoro alongside Orisa, you are going to be firing Union Burst like no tomorrow. It's going to be ridiculous. Definitely one of the funnest top comps to run with Orisa is running Orisa with Kokoro on the team. You're just going to be shooting out attacks, or you could run her with Monica as well. Any character that buffs action speed, but I feel like Kokoro and Monica are the two most popular ones. If you run that with them, you're going to be just draining them with this Union Burst. It's going to be hitting so hard. If you crit with this, you're going to be hitting super hard. My 3-star Orisa, she crits. She's hitting just as much as my Kyori at 5 stars. A little bit lower, of course. I think she's going to be hitting like what I think the hardest I've ever seen her hit was like 84k or something, which is 6,000 less than my Curie did. My Curie hits for like 90,000, so she's very, very close considering she's only 3 stars. Her stats aren't the greatest, but obviously she's a backline character, so having physical defense isn't that much of a problem compared to her magic defense. Her magic defense is honestly really, really solid, especially at 3-star level. If you can get up to 4 stars, she's going to be much, much more tankier. Should be around 180-ish magic defense and about 110 or 120 physical. So Orisa definitely, I feel like, is deserving of the top 5 physical DPS slots. Really, really powerful character. And last but not least, we have Shiori. Now, Shiori is one of the better, I think, DPSs in the game, one of the more underrated characters. Basically, she is the same as Orisa. I feel like Orisa, 5-star Orisa versus 5-star Shiori, I feel like Orisa just completely blows Shiori out the water. Obviously, Shiori, she stacks her physical attack, large boost of physical attack every time she stacks her Union Burst up. So every time you use this, it's going to be hitting much harder every single time. Large physical damage to an enemy directly in front, so not bad. It's going to boost her physical attack, though, which is going to make all of her skills hit harder. This is going to recover her own TP by a small amount. This is also going to recover her own TP by a small amount, these 2 abilities. This is going to be an AoE to 3 enemies directly in front. This one's just going to be a single target attack. So she has multiple chances of her recovering her own TP, which is pretty solid. But I feel like having the ability of being Orisa, where just have this one ability just recovers your TP by like almost 90% is so ridiculous and so ludicrous that I feel like I would much rather prefer Orisa's kit over Shiori, just because Shiori's kit is good, but Orisa also has the advantage of being a mage, like, destroyer. Obviously, just lowering their action speed is very, very annoying, especially to the enemy team. So I feel like Orisa has the much better kit than Shiori, but Shiori is still no slouch. This girl does hit very, very hard. Do not get me wrong. Do not sleep on Shiori. She is a great, great unit. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Let me know what you guys think are your top 3 physical DPS in the entire game. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.